My name is Honorable Deacon Chike Okafor. I am a member representing the good and very enterprising and hardworking people of Ehimembano, Ituboma, Obo Federal Constituency here from Imo State. For your information, really, it's the committee known and addressed as AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. It's not a creation of the Ninth Assembly. Actually, it was a creation of the Eighth Assembly under Yakubu Dogara, and it was carved out of the previous Health Committee, which was now broken into three standing committees of healthcare services, which, by the grace of God and the leadership of the Eighth Assembly, I was the chairman. It's that Committee on Healthcare Services, Committee on Health Institutions, and then Committee on AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. That should be the one you're referring to. So it's not really a standing committee called or addressed as Committee on HIV. Okay. It's Committee on AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. It can also be rephrased to mean Committee on epidemics. But okay, they actually deal with all the emergencies and epidemic challenges. I'm sure you could recall that in the 8th Assembly, we had this Ebola surge. We had quite a number of epidemic situations that arose, basically in the Northeast at the time. And what we did as a committee or as a responsible assembly at the time was to interface with the Ministry of Health, particularly the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, to be sure that they are abreast and at home with the challenges as they arose. But most recently, I can't think of any epidemic we've had in the last, at least not in the life of the Ninth Assembly. I'm not sure of that. But if there's any particular one, probably you mention it to me. But our job as lawmakers basically is to strengthen our oversight, with and within the domain of the ministries and these agencies, to ensure that they carry out their functions optimally. And that's as far as we can go. But we are not directly involved in the implementation. Directly involved. Kudos to the Ministry of Health. It was well handled. Otherwise, if you probably followed the trend of Ebola when it started in the Northeast, in the eastern part of Africa, before it came into Nigeria, it caused a lot more damage in those countries. Well, I think that it's high time we begin to give kudos and credit to our state, our country, and then our government, even when they do very well. And when there are lapses, obvious lapses, we also give the knocks. I think that the whole world applauded Nigeria, the way and manner the Ebola scourge was handled, and it didn't get out of hand. I think that the Ministry of Health, then under Professor Isaac Felorusho Adewale, were really, really up and doing, and we got kudos. I recall one of the outings we did in Geneva, went for hunger. One of the health outings we did, and Nigeria was the topical instance that was celebrated by the whole world. In those outings, to say that Nigeria was able to manage the epidemic when it came up, and also the challenges of meningitis in the northeastern part of Nigeria. I can tell you that without the effective management of those epidemics, when they occurred, we probably would have recorded a lot more deaths and casualties in Nigeria. But I think that the Federal Ministry of Health and these agencies have really done so well in managing those situations. And also recall that the Center for Disease Control was also created in the last couple of years, and via the Act of Parliament in the 8th Assembly, that center became a legal entity, as it were. The Act of Parliament, also had to have that Center for Disease Control, strengthened by law to be able to also engage in not only there are differences between when you are reactionary and when you are proactive, and then you are engaging in preventive measures, and that's basically what that agency has come to do. So I would dare say that the Nigerian government have done well over 70% in handling these epidemics in the past. And I'm sure that the agencies of the Ministry of Health and these agencies are also well equipped and ready to take on any emergencies.
Okay, in the course of your oversight,
I already did. I said while I oversighted, while as the chairman of the committee of the 8th Assembly on Healthcare Services, the agencies, the Ministry of Health, the National Primary, the NPSCD, that's National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and the Center for Disease Control were directly under our oversight purview. And I sit down here to say that those agencies and the ministry, federal ministry proper, did have done, by my own assessment, over 70%. It's a very, very critical and topical issue. And when the matter became germane and we understood it, while I was the chair of the healthcare services in the 8th Assembly, when we understood it, we now decided that we're not going to allow any member to domicile construction of a new health center in his constituency, because the Federal Ministry of Health over the years have, I dare say, succeeded in putting at least one functional health center in one ward, electoral ward, in this country. So what we had to do was to say, instead of having members, eager to start new constructions, let us now engage in revitalizing existing PSCs. Okay. And that was as a result of the complaint made by the ED of MPSCD. And I must say, when he made that observation, and most of us are not doctors or practitioners in the health sector, so what the politician wants to do is to own up a project in his constituency. And health is one major area that it's burning, it's a desire, it's burning in everybody, whether you are a lawmaker or politician or not. You want to see that you are intervening in that area of health, or to provide some quality health services within and around your constituency. So we have to sit down as members of the 8th Assembly after the 2016 budget, and we say we are going to help to support the MPNCDA to ensure that no member, even if it's your zonal intervention, please don't bring up the construction of a new health center. Rather, pick one health center for revitalization. What do we mean by that? There are quite a number of health centers, for instance, in my constituency, that are still having the wooden doors or wooden windows of the old. So when we say revitalization, what we mean is touch up the facility and also bring equipment and make sure they have functional drugs, they have drugs and equipment, up-to-date equipment, and also the right, well-trained staff. So I agreed with Dr. Faisal Shuaibu at the time, and we began to see that was implemented. And I'm a member of the Healthcare Services Committee right now, and I can tell you that the committee leadership also are towing that line. Because what's the point? Every member comes in, he wants to introduces a construction of new health center. It's not the building that makes it a functional health center. It is the facilities they're in. Yeah, the building has to be there. It has to be good. So what we're also doing in this current 2020 budget is to also continue from where we stopped in the 8th Assembly to say, let us continue to involve and engage in revitalizing existing PSCs. Revitalizing in the sense that anyone that doesn't have the right equipment, provide equipment. Anyone that have equipment but the drugs are not there, provide drugs. So, and then there are also quite a number of them that don't have requisite functional, well-trained staff. We just came back from Uyo, where we had the CISLAC retreat, and we visited 2 health centers in Uyo, within the state capital. Believe you me, what we saw there is nothing to write home about. The buildings are there, facilities are there, but the nurses and doctors were not there. And in one of the instances, we went, say, once there's an emergency, you call the metro. She'll have to come and then open the place before. I think that's not the idea. That negates the entire entire vision, behind the revitalization of health centers, at least one in every electoral ward. So I agree. We agreed with Dr. Fesa Shuaibu at the time, and as lawmakers and those lawmakers who make the laws, including the appropriation bill, we insist that members, even if it's your original intervention, don't bring in for construction. Point out the one you want to revitalize. Show the one you want to. You want the primary health care to buy equipment and make functional. So I agree. And if we do that again in the next couple of years, we would have achieved the milestone.
Okay.
Because the place and importance of primary health care cannot be overemphasized. Because today the secondary facilities like primary medical centers and teaching hospitals are overstretched. Because ordinarily, ailments and health challenges are all to be handled at the PSC centers are now going to the referral centers. I don't see the reason why a pregnant nursing mother cannot go to the health center and deliver. I don't see why the woman cannot even attend her prenatal and postnatal, there. But what do you see today? Go to a teaching hospital, you see a lot of women. What are they here for? Antenatal. It doesn't make sense. So when we lose it at that PSC center, at that primary health care level, when we lose it there, we are stretching the facilities at the secondary facility level. And those are supposed to be naturally referral cases. So only complications arising from pregnancy when it is not well handled at the PSC level should be referred to teaching hospitals and primary medical centers. But that's not the case today. A woman is 1 month, 2 months pregnant, she's going to register at a teaching hospital. So we're not doing ourselves any good. So we must continue to shout that our health system, particularly at the primary health level, should be revitalized and made functional, so that we will have affordable health care. I don't have the facts behind that assertion or that request, but if health is one area of our life that we don't need to play politics with, you don't even need to bring in emotions and sentiments into it. That's why even when the facilities are there, because you probably don't have a confidence in our health system, you see somebody running away to the other countries of the world where you are confident that you will get some good medical attention. So let's not bring emotions and sentiments into. If the Minister of Health says this is what he thinks we need to do, for me, let us give him the support. Believe in me. We need to look at it holistically. We need to look at it holistically and allow the practitioners to determine what our challenges are. I used to say that the 8th Assembly, while I was Chairman Health, I said we were not really the best because I'm not a medical doctor. My deputy is not a medical doctor. The chairman of health institutions was not a medical doctor. Her deputy was not a medical doctor. I was the chairman of healthcare services. Usman from Kaduna was my deputy, not a medical doctor. The chairman of health institutions, now Senator Betty Abiafi from Rivers State, not a medical doctor, a trained banker like me. Her deputy was not a medical doctor. In my whole committee of about 28, 30 members, we had only one doctor, one medical doctor. Now, but today, in the Ninth Assembly, I used to tell them in the meetings that the Ninth Assembly is blessed. The chairman of the healthcare services is a medical doctor. The deputy is a medical doctor. The chairman of health institutions is a medical doctor. So, what does that tell you? We now have the practitioners in the committee leadership, interfacing with the agencies that are also populated by medical practitioners. So, unlike the case when I was chairman, I will, in a meeting with them, they will speak all the medical jargons. I will retreat and then engage one medical practitioner to interpret for me. But now I watch the chairman of the Committee on Health Services engaging constructively and positively with them. So I think that we, as a Ninth Assembly, I want to commend the leadership, the Speaker particularly, Femi Gbajabamila, for deeming it necessary to have doctors now in place So we really don't have issues of communication between the legislature, there's a committee leadership, and the Ministry of Health and its agencies. So if the minister says this is what we need, let us go and get what we want, what we need. If that will give us what we want and what we need in this country, so be it. During the 8th Assembly, we did a lot of advocacy for increased budget, sounding modest, but we engaged the leadership. We set up an advocacy group led by the wife of the Senate President, Toyin Saraki, and that was deputy chairman or co-chair of that group. And we led a delegation to the single Senate President. We led delegation to the Speaker. And what were we talking about? How do we get increased funding for health? And that's why the 1% CRF came in. And if there was one thing I achieved, or we achieved, I also want to give kudos and credit to the chairman of the chairman of the health committees in the Senate, Dr. Single Senator Teju Osho, and Senator Mao Vawonwa, who were chairman of health and primary health care, respectively, of the committees of the Senate. We formed a strong alliance and we put all the pressure on the leadership for improved funding. And that's why we were able to get that 1% funding that was in excess of 35 billion additional funding from the natural normal budget provisions for health. And that was able to take the percentage budget allocation of health to about 5-6%, about 5.7%. Today, I understand that we have less than 4%. So where are we going to? Are we going, taking one step forward and 2 steps backward? You can politicize everything. I am speaking to the camera. You can play politics with roads, construction. You can play politics with every other thing, but let us not play politics with health. Abuja Declaration of 2003, that Nigeria was a signatory to, that insisted that 25% or 20% of national budget should be allocated to health. Other countries of Africa, including Gambia here, are already doing more than that. And here we are, as a country, struggling to even say do 6% national budget. I understand we have other challenges like insecurity all over the country, and then we need to also fund the agencies that are really relevant agencies, or institutions of government that are saddled with the responsibility of providing security. I understand that we have to do the railways and all that, build our airport. I understand all that. Oh, do our roads. But let us not play politics with health. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. If you put all the infrastructures and have all the infrastructures in place and the health of the nation is not catered for, where would you have the human beings, healthy, living human beings, to enjoy this other infrastructure? So let's build the human infrastructure first. Let's provide the health of our citizenry. So I'm not impressed. In terms of percentage, I'm not impressed. We pushed, we fought in the 8th Assembly, and we were able to get those additional funding for health. But today, from what I have seen, I've also interacted with the leadership of the committee, the 11 committees of health. We need to do something before it gets late. Now that the budget has not been laid, now that we're still going through the processes of appropriation, let the single Senate President, Speaker, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, go back and rejig the budget and give more money to health, because a wealthy nation is a healthy nation.